Hello students, this is Amardeep Singh, your computer teacher, and today we are going to continue with the same chapter looping in Python. And in this session we'll discuss about introduction to while loop, syntax of using while loop, and some practical activities using while loop. So first we'll discuss about while loop. While is an entity-controlled looping statement. It always works with a condition. All statements which are a part of while loop statement repeatedly get executed as long as a condition is true. While keyword is used to define a while loop. So while loop is an entry control loop. That means this loop always check the condition first before the execution of loop body, and it always depending on a condition and always execute if the condition is true, and it stop its execution when the condition turns to false. So if you want to compare it with a for loop, then for loop is depending on a range. That means we have to specify a start value and end value, but a while loop is depending on a condition. Next we'll discuss about the syntax of using while loop. First we'll discuss about initialization. Initialization is the way to store some initial value in control variable. It decides the starting point of a loop. So that means storing the initial value, assigning first value to a loop variable is known as initialization. So it decides the starting point of a loop. Then next we are having while keyword. By using while keyword we have to define a condition. Condition is a relational or logical expression. If condition is true, the loop will execute. Loop will terminate when the condition becomes false. If condition is initially false, the loop will not execute even once. So that means the execution of a loop is totally depending on the condition defined by using while keyword. So if the condition is true, then this block will execute, written in between while and else statement. If the condition is false, then the control will exit from the loop. So then next we'll discuss about updation. Updation is the way to increase or decrease the value of a control variable. And in while loop, we have to manually update the value of a loop variable. There is not any auto updation, or you can say default updation, uh, in the loop variable like we are having in for loop. In for loop we are having default increment of loop variable by 1, but in while loop we have to define the updation statement manually, but anywhere inside the body of a while loop. That may be the last line, that may be the first line, that may be in between. You can define updation statement anywhere inside the loop body. Then next we are having else block. Else block is executed only if while loop terminates normally. So that means if you're after the completion of loop, the else block will execute once, but it will execute only if the loop terminates normally. If you will terminate the loop before its completion by using some jumping statement like break, then it will not execute. Next we'll discuss about this flowchart that represents to the execution flow of a while loop. First we are having initialization statement that decide the starting point or initial value of a loop variable. Then after that control moves to the conditional statement, this condition. So if the condition is true, the statement block, the statements written inside the body of that loop will uh, execute, and after the updation of loop variable, then control move back to the condition. So again this process will repeat again and again while the condition evaluates to true, and after that when the condition turns to false, the control will exit from the loop, and the statement X, that means that statement may be outside the loop or that may be written inside the else block, will get executed. So now it's the time to demonstrate how to use a while loop. So let's suppose if I want to print uh, 1 to 10 increment by 1, then what I have to do, I'm going to uh, print 1 to 10 increment by 1. So that means if you want to perform this uh, uh, repetition, then I have to assign initial value, that is I equal to 1, that is the initialization statement, you can say uh, I equal to 1. Then so this one is initialization statement. Then after that we have to define a condition while I less than equals to 10, then print. Then if you will run the same loop like this, and if you will not define any updation statement, then this loop will become an infinite loop. So you have to define an updation statement before that. So I'll assign I equal to I plus 1. You can write this statement, or you can even write like I uh, plus equal to 1. That is the same statement. So after that save it. So this one is the initial statement, this one is known as condition, and this statement I plus equal to 1 is known as updation. So these are the statements, and this one is the normal statement written inside the body of that loop that you want to repeat. So now press F5 to run that. Now you can see the values has been printed and increment by 1. If you want to run the same loop increment by 2, then what you all have to do, you have to specify I plus equal to 2, then press F5. Now you can see the output is 1, 3, 5 and 7. And next, now I want to run the same loop in the reverse order, starting from 10 to 1, then decrement by 1. So what you have to change, you have to change the initial value. Initial value means from where the loop will start. So we have to change the initial value, and after that we have to change the condition also. According to the condition, I have to specify I greater than or equal to 1 and print the value of I, and after that I now I have to decrease the value of variable by 1, I minus equals to 1. Then after that press F5. Now you can see 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you want to change the decrement amount according to your wish, then you can also specify if you want to decrement the loop variable by 2, then you have to specify I minus equals to 2, then this one. So and next as we discussed in previous slide, that you can specify updation statement anywhere inside the body of a loop. That means if you will write the same statement before the printing statement, then even this loop will work. But this loop will work uh, according to the same number of times. That means it will work 10 times, but the output will affect because the updation statement execute first before the printing. So that means the initial value of I is now 10. Condition is true. Then it will perform decrement. That means the value is now 9. Then after that it will print the value. So number of iterations will be same, but the result will uh, be affected by the place of that updation statement inside the body of loop. So now it's printing 9 to 0. If I will write the same statement after print statement, then the number of iteration again will be same, that is 10, but the result will be different. So you can write updation statement inside the body of a loop, anywhere inside the body of a loop, but the result will be affected according to that the place of that updation statement. And next we'll discuss about else block and while loop. Else block is executed only if while loop terminates normally. So here we are having else block after the body of that loop, and this block will execute the statements written inside in this block will execute if the loop terminates normally. That means after the completion of loop, when the condition turns to false, then the else block will execute. So let's check how we can use else in a while loop. In previous example, we will add else block, else, then colon, then after that you have to specify the value, print else block executed. So else block is basically used to perform finalization task after the execution of a loop. So that means finalization task means any task that you want to execute after the completion of that loop. So save this and press F5 to run the loop. Now you can check after the completion of loop starting from 10 to 1, the else block executes. So that is all about how we can use else block in a while loop. So that is all about my present session, and in this session we have discussed about while loop, syntax of using while loop, and some practical uh, demonstrations also, and the use of else block inside the while loop. And if you people are having any kind of doubt related to these topics,